Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Today's project is going to feature the tidings and trimmings. So if you're going to do a Christmas in July or you want to see some of the alternate things that I've done with it, this is right up your alley. I also wanted to remind you that I do have an online class that's called Summer and Christmas Holidays, and it's going to feature this bundle. So there's different ways you can participate. You can get the stamps and dies and all the supplies for our 4 projects, or just get the card supplies and the videos. So all of them are video. You'll have a video tutorial for each of the 4 projects. And the super fun thing about this class is the reason it's called Summer and Christmas Holidays is because of the star and the star dies and the way the paper is in this. You can easily get some fun summer cards. So 4th of July, just the red, white, and blue of summer and some of the leaves and stuff. And then of course it's perfect for Christmas. So I'm not using the star dies today. I wanted you to see them. Those of you that are in the Try It class got a special star in your Try It things. So it's a really fun set. Like I said, all of these things, the little tiny stars, the greenery, the bow, there's pieces of it that can be used all year round. The way they have done the star, you can see it's just colored with leaves. So you don't have to do Christmas with it. The only thing that's really Christmassy, of course, is the stockings. And then the overtly Christmas, we're not going to put a May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. I guess you could put some fireflies or something on, but the Noel and stuff, the sayings are mostly Christmas. So let's get our supplies out. The class registration ends on June 4th. So if you're interested, you need to get signed up right away. It's going to be a fun class. This one is not taking the place. I have an artistically inked class, and that stuff went on back order, so I wasn't able to get it. So I just decided I love this, so I would shove it in here because the projects will be easy. That way you'll have all of this Christmas stuff if you want to do a Christmas in July project. So the paper I'm going to use, I have soft succulent, and I based the colors for this off of the designer series paper. Now I will be honest, when I first saw this paper in the catalog, I was like, not my favorite Christmas paper, because the colors, at least in the copy of the catalog I got, don't look true to what the colors are. And then when I got all of the paper, it's a 6x6 pack, and I got it all for my Try It class. It ended up being, we did my Zoom Try It class, my demonstrator team, and so I was talking about my sleeper favorites of designer series paper. And because I do that class now where you get to see all of the papers, that means I have to buy all of the papers. And a few years ago, I wouldn't have done that. So I would have always just assumed I didn't like the Christmas paper, but I love it. And the other one is the Symmetry, the Sweet Symmetry paper. That one I would not have bought, but once I see it, I love it. So sometimes the stuff just looks better in person. So I have the soft succulent. Let's fold this in half. Bone folders are one of my gifts with purchase this month. And you can also get a bone folder with the charm and the hole drilled in it that my girlfriend makes. And well, my girlfriend makes the charms, my husband drills the holes. I'll have nothing to do with it other than sending it to you. So here's the paper. If you're a fan of Rifle Paper Company, then you'll love this paper. I could buy 12 planners of theirs every year just because I love their planners. But their paper, their look is this look. I would like a pair of the Keds that come in Rifle Paper Company, but it's really pretty. And then all of the sides, of course, are double-sided, and that's how we're going to be able to make the summer holidays, because the designs aren't, again, on the one side of the paper, aren't overtly Christmas. So I'm going to change something up on this card, because when I originally did it, I was going to use 3 pieces of the paper, and one of them was white. I did not end up putting that on the card, the white piece. So on my first one, I stamped this on white, on our basic white. This time I'm going to use Very Vanilla. So just stamp this. There's 2 stocking pattern stamps and then the 1 stocking die. So I've got that. Then this, Mint's not one of the colors in the paper, but you can see it's close enough to the succulent that it works. And it most certainly works with the paper. So I'm going to take this because I want to have a little velvet trimmed stocking. So if you don't like to tie ribbons, just think of creative ways to get the ribbon on your project. So I'm going to take this little piece right here, and I'm just going to stamp the cuff. Because they're stamping on fabric, you need to hold it down a second longer so the fabric has time to absorb it. It is rainy, rainy, rainy here today, so it means it's humid. So I'm hoping that nothing smears. So now you can see we have this fun little cuff for the top of our stocking. And I'm not gonna have to tie any bow, but this is fabulous ribbon. It's so pretty for weddings or showers or Christmas, winter cards, really pretty. And then I'm gonna take this piece here and I'm gonna stamp It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year just over here in the corner. So we've got that. Then I'm gonna cut all this stuff out to give this a second longer to dry. Okay, so let's cut all this stuff out with the die cut machine. I did the drawing for the die cut machine. I was super happy to give one away. And stay tuned for my next major giveaway. It will start in July. And you're gonna really like what it is. So I'm gonna put these on here. Now I need a whole bouquet of the greenery. So we have, I'm not gonna run it all through so you don't have to watch me cut it all. And move it over here where you can see it. So we need the stocking and this one. Here comes my cat with this toy. Hi, Bubby, what you got? Did you kill something for me? So I've got, he kills this thing like 12 times a day. But we always have to be happy every time, right? Because they're doing it for us. What you got, Bubs? Yeah, I know. He is my boy cat. Usually, like in yesterday's video, you saw my girl cat. And she was just on the table and I made her get down. What's wrong, baby? So roll these through. I want to show how you get the top cut out, so, of the stocking. So we've got these. What's wrong, Bubs? Now I'm gonna do them all again. I did try to do 2 of these at one time. They didn't cut great because, well, they cut fine, but they were hard to get out because they're so dainty. So by the time you mess with trying to get them out, it's just faster to cut them individually. So I'm gonna take my little piece of cuff here and I'm gonna get my stocking die again. I'm gonna just line that right up there. That way when I put it on the top of my stocking, it will be perfectly cut. There won't be any paper showing out from underneath. You could cut the top of your stocking off, and maybe if I wasn't using lots of dies and I didn't wanna run it through the die, I might just cut it. Because if you cut this out, because it just fits on the ribbon width-wise, or height-wise, and then you could just glue it over it so there's no paper. But if you're already gonna do it, you might as well do it right. And this way it rounds the little corners and it just pulls right off there. Isn't that cute? Shouldn't be touching it too much in case it's not dry. I'm gonna run these other couple of pieces through and then I'll fast forward that bit of the video. Okay, so I've cut all these out. Now we need to color in our stocking, which is super fun. I haven't done, a lot of the stamps I've been using recently don't have a need to be colored. So when you find one, you're like, oh, I get to color. So for this, I just chose the colors that are in the paper. So you can see I have, I'm missing one, here it is. I have the light colors of all of them, Midnight Muse, Evergreen, Succulent, and Cherry Cobbler. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color in the little pieces, and I just used the bullet tip on all of them. There's really not a whole lot of blending. It's more that you have this nice, great tip to work with. So I'm gonna dot all these berries first. If you color all the things first, then when you go back to color the stocking itself, you know where not to color. Is that the right way to say it? So dab these on here. I think that's all of them. Then I took the light soft succulent and all of the leaves that have a stripe, because there's leaves that have a line in them and leaves that don't. So if they had a line, they got soft succulent. And you can see I'm just barely adding color. You need to remember when you work with any alcohol ink that they bleed. So if you put too much on here, then it's gonna all turn into each other. So just one quick swipe of color is plenty. These do also dry a little bit lighter, so it'll look darker until I'm finished. And it's had a couple of seconds to dry. Like I said, very, very humid here today. So I think that's all, there's one. And then I took the Evergreen, and again, it's the light one. And these are tiny leaves, so really just one swoop of the thing, and then just let it bleed into your corners. If you put too much, because the ink has to go somewhere, it just goes outside your lines. And then for the final touch, I have the light Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to color this and fast forward it, just because you don't need to see me color all this blue in. Okay, I've colored all this in, so now I'm gonna go back any place where I didn't quite touch. And I'm just gonna add those. So there's a little bit of green missing there. I'm gonna add some here, just in these places where it didn't touch. I think it's easier to use one of the light colors and not keep trying to get closer with that darker color. So get all those filled in. Have that, and then there's a couple places where, because when I did the berries, I barely touched because you don't want too much, but it didn't bleed quite as much as I needed it to fill in the area. So just go back now and hit those. If you have a little bit of white on your card, it most certainly does not, I mean on your stocking, it does not matter. Okay, so there we go. That's good. Now we just have to put this together. And the reason you do it on scrap paper is because it can bleed through, but if you're doing a super light touch, because you don't want it to bleed, you shouldn't have a lot of ink on the back side. That's how you know if you're using too much for it. If you have a bleeding problem, look at the back and see how hard you're pushing. So I'm gonna put this on the bottom. And these are cut 2 by 5 1/4. And then we'll do this one. You can see both the other sides of the paper. This would be great for Father's Day, just as like a chevron print. And then just stick those right together. Really pretty background. And then for this, I'm going to take it and put my adhesive on the back so it's all ready to go. And then flip it over and then just make, if you always wished you could arrange flowers, but you can't, you can with paper. So we're gonna do all 3 sets of them. And I want most of my green to appear that they're in the front, so I'm gonna do those all first. And you can control how high or low they're going by how, see, I have a lot of my leaves down there. So I'll do that one, oops, a little higher. The more you get on there, you may have to add some more adhesive because you see it starts to cover it up. I want that one to go higher though. There we go. Did I get it? And then let's do the copper foil pieces. Oh, come on. Stay there. It's stuck to my hand. Isn't that pretty? And because I have all of this ready to go, then you can just take it over here and plop it down and everything will stay underneath it. So I've got that. Stop, guys. Okay, let's take our little cuff. You know, hold on to your stocking, make sure it's pressed on really well, and then just add this right back over the top. And it fits perfectly because it was also die cut. Then just 2 more Christmassy steps. I'm gonna take my Wink of Stella and I'm just gonna go over the wonderful year, just so that has a little bit of glitter to it. And this one I haven't squeezed because if you have a Stella that's not new and you don't squeeze it, you just get the ever slightest little bit of glitter, because I don't want this to be a glittery card. I just want to have that tiny bit of sparkle. And then just brush it a little bit over my stocking. It kind of brightens those blends up and you can see that they're lightening up. Then for the final touch, the set does come with tiny little berries. Tiny little berries. There's like 8 of them on the die. So I was going to use them. And then I thought, well, no, I'm going to do the lazy way and I'm going to use some of our red rhinestones instead of having to glue them all on. And these, again, add a little bit of extra sparkle. So because everything's raised up when you add these on, they're self-adhesive, but you want to make sure you push down just to make sure they've grabbed something. And they're all going to look a little bit different, obviously, because when you make these bouquet things, you're just kind of at the whim of however they fall. If you find a pattern that you love and you want to keep trying that, then I would just adhere and maybe with glue dots, because you want to make sure they're stuck underneath there. So I think that the little dies are fabulous, but I think the rhinestones are a lot quicker. So it doesn't look a whole lot different on the vanilla than it does the white. You just have this extra little bit of white showing here. I don't know that it makes a huge difference. Super, super easy. if you want to get started on your Christmas card, so on days like today, when if it's raining and not a great summer day to be outside, then you could get started on them. So this year when Thanksgiving comes, the day after, you can get all of your Christmas cards mailed out. So if you're interested in the class, the registration does end at midnight on June 4th. So you don't have very many days left to get in on it, but we're going to have a great time in it. All online, all videos that show you exactly how to do everything. The limited supply list that you need to have is on the class registration page. It's mostly colors of ink that are in the papers. So if you don't have those, then I'm happy to add them to your class and send them with you. Send them with the class. Everybody have a great day and Merry Christmas in June. Bye.